Andrew McGahan for SevereMMA.com here in Las Vegas, Nevada, standing alongside, I was about to call you the prospect killer, the Russian hammer, Artem Lobov, ahead of his fight against Chris Avila at UFC 202 this Saturday. Artem, I suppose since it's fresh in our heads, and since he was actually involved in it yesterday, what did you make of the altercation between both camps?
Yeah, I mean, we came in there, as professionals. We sat down, we remained calm throughout the whole thing. They did what they did. Everyone saw, this is what they do, I guess. This is what they're known for. But it's not something that should be acceptable. This sport has gone a long way. Recently, it's been accepted in New York. A lot of work has gone in to bring the sport to where it is now. And things like this don't do any justice to all the hard work, don't do any justice to all the good athletes, respectable athletes, true professionals. So it's not something that I enjoyed, and I really hope that it doesn't happen again.
Talk to me about your journey to this point, though, because I was thinking about it with Dave earlier on. It's quite interesting that Conor's debut was the same night you had the conversation with Sean Shelby, who told you to get your record to a positive and a negative and he'd be able to sign you. That sparked that I'll fight anybody for free on short notice anywhere. And now, so many years later, you're here on what maybe you have even said yourself is your last chance in the UFC. For you, how has this journey been for you the last couple of years? Would you have done anything different?
Not at all. I love the journey. People talk about the record, but the truth is I've been fighting in the Premier League of MMA, whereas all these other guys, they're fighting in the third league of Malta. So that's the difference. It's very easy where they're at, and it's very, very difficult and very, very competitive where I am. So I definitely wouldn't have changed anything. I'm in this sport for a reason. I like a challenge. I want real fights, and this is what I have done. When you take on real fights, when you take on competitive fights, losses happen. So no, I wouldn't change anything.
You've been very honest about your performances up to this point. You said other people maybe would have been cut and maybe you probably should have been cut. How relieved were you to actually get the call to say you're going to have one more go, we're going to go at 202 against Chris?
Yeah, I had another fight lined up. I was ready to go elsewhere and prove myself again and get back into the UFC. I looked up who is the best unsigned guy in Europe, and contacted their promotion, which was a Russian promotion, and I said, look, I want to fight you a champ. Let's do this. And they said, yeah, cool. They were going to put on the fight. And then the call came from the UFC and they said they were interested in putting this fight on. So I was obviously delighted. At the end of the day, this is what it's all about. You want to represent those three letters, UFC.
All right, this is a different dynamic for you in the camp as well, as formerly you would have been Conor's main training and sparring partner, and never really did your fights coincide at the same time. You were always the training partner. Now the two of you are training in tandem to fight on the same night. Is this? Are you feeling like this is better for you, that you're actually able to? I know you've always joked about getting beaten up by Conor, and you've gotten some of the worst beatings compared to any of his previous opponents. Was it a nice bit of a different camp for you? More structured, more regimented?
Actually, we've shared many cards with Conor before, so this is nothing new to me. But yeah, it's been a great camp. Conor had his specific training partners. He flew in specific training partners for me, for my fight also. So it's been good. We were together in it, but at the same time we had two separate camps at the same time. So it's been a very good camp.
And you're okay with moving out to Vegas maybe 7 or 8 weeks before? You agree it's better to get adjusted out here and just put the prep in, or do you miss Ireland at this time?
Yeah, of course I miss home. I'm looking forward to getting back home, but right now my mind is on the job at hand. And yes, I enjoyed being here because I feel it certainly helps, getting used to the air, getting used to the climate. There is no shock to the system anymore. Everything feels natural. Everything feels as it should.
Two quick things. Do you think you're an opponent like Chris, this will start the tone well? A victory over Chris before Conor fights Nate, that'll kind of set the tone for later on in the evening. Do you think that you can actually cause a blow to Nate before the fight even starts?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I know that Conor is not affected by anything. There could be a hurricane outside of the arena and he's not going to be bothered. But Nate did say before that he doesn't like sharing cards with his training partners. So I will definitely be looking to capitalize on that.
And for you, are you happy that maybe even if you had got this fight on this card against someone who wasn't part of Diaz's teammate? Because I know after the first fight the idea was floated around that you could do an SBG versus Scrap Pack themed card, and your name was one of the guys first there. Did it matter to you who it was that you were going to be against, or is it sweet that it's going to be against one of Diaz's teammates?
Well, I think it certainly adds a bit of interest. You know, team versus team. I'm not sure they've ever done this before, so it certainly adds a lot more interest, adds a lot more spice to the fight card. So
excellent, Artem. Thank you very much. Best of luck on
thanks
Saturday.
very much, man.